A pleasant day to all of you. We're here again for another discussion about basic occupational safety and health. Last time we had a fun ride in nourishing and levitating our knowledge with basic occupational safety and health through the Unit 2 of this course. This time, let's brace our will to learn again about Unit 3, specifically Module 14, which is the accident investigation. Accident investigations are intended to determine the cause of an incident, to identify unsafe conditions or acts, and to recommend corrective actions so that similar incidents don't occur in the future. The purpose is prevention, not blame. After an investigation, employers are required without any undue delay to take corrective actions and then report on the actions taken. Copies of reports must go to the Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee. Let us now give the spotlight to Mary Lorelyn Escote for the preliminary discussion of this video.
Good day everyone, I am Mary Lorelyn Escote. I am here because I will discuss some part of accident investigation. Accident investigation is an important element of safety and health program that we should establish and implement. All aspects of our daily work operation involve a degree of risk so that some event or action may not be as safe as we want it to be. This is some objective to help you to how to understand the investigation. Number 1 is discuss the importance of accident investigation. Explain the basic procedure in the conduct of accident investigation. The next is enumerate the types of accident to be reported. And the last is document and make recommendation based on the investigation. Views on accident investigation. To understand the views on accident investigation, this some question will help you to understand views on accident investigation. Number 1 is what types of accident happen in your company. If you're not yet employed, think about your usual surroundings. Example types of accident is trip and fall. Lifting can cause sprain or strain or tear muscle. The next is do this accident occur repeatedly. Then number 3 is are accident reported. Dapat yung kapag may accident ka na witness, tingnan mo kung na-report ba yun. Next is, what action did your company take in order to prevent the recurrences of similar accident in the future? Kung nag-incorporate ng safety and wellness plan, conduct replacement physical, at saka kung in-educate ba nila yung employees and manage staff. Then next is kung nag-provide sila ng protection equipment, then dapat laging orderly yung workplace. The last is are accident investigation conducted in your company. Kung may nangyari pa accident, nag-provide sila ng first aid or medical care, ni-report nila yung accident, tapos kung in-investigate nila yung accident as soon as possible, i-identify nila kung ano yung cause ng accident. Yun kung tingnan kung nag-conduct ba yung company ng investigation. An accident is an unplanned and unexpected occurrences that may result to injury or death to a person and or damage to properties. This is the two categories of causes of accident. Number one is the unsafe act or anything related to employee activities. Example are the horseplay, disregarding safety rules, failing to wear PPE, and improper. And the next is the unsafe condition is any cause of accident related to the physical environment. Example are the slippery floor caused by leaking drum of oil, faulty electrical installation, unguarded moving parts of the machine, and poor light working environment. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Prince Bejay Jasmin, and my topic is all about accident investigation. First, what is accident investigation? A methodological effort to collect and interpret the facts of accident. An inquiry as to how and why the accident occurred in order to explore actions that should be taken to prevent or minimize recurrence of the accident. What is accident investigation? Accident investigation is the process of determining the root causes of accidents. On the job, injuries, property damage, and close calls in order to prevent them from occurring again. Earlier, it has been mentioned that a policy is needed in order that all incidents be reported, so the appropriate investigation can be performed. A rough policy would require reporting the following types of accident: fatal, injury, disease, dangerous occurrence, near miss. Fatal, the occupational safety and health standard being implemented by DOLE required that accident resulting in death within 24 hours should be reported to DOLE Regional Office. After occurrence, using the fastest available communication and within 48 hours upon receipt of the initial report be investigated. Next is injury. An injury that causes minor or first aid treatment to serious to permanently, totally incapacitate workers should be reported. Next is disease. All work-related diseases, illnesses due to exposure to unsafe working environment should also be reported. Next is dangerous occurrences. Any dangerous occurrences which may or may not cause serious bodily harm to workers or seriously damage the premises of employment should be investigated and reported by the employer to DOLE Regional Office. These include fire, explosion of boiler and pressure vessels, collapse of equipment or structures, and etc. Plus, near miss. Near miss is an incident where no injury or property damage has occurred, but where a slight difference in position or timing could mean the occurrence of damage or injury. Next, why do you perform accident investigation? An accident investigation will lead us or will lead you to the real cause of why something happened. And armed with that knowledge, you can take affirmative steps to prevent future accidents from occurring. Purpose of accident investigation: establish all facts, to draw conclusion, to make recommendation, prevent recurrence. It will help us to gather the factual information of who, what, where, when, and how. Once this information has been gathered, we can easily analyze the incident and identify the root causes. Why we should look for the root cause. An investigator or team believe that incidents are caused by unsafe conditions will likely try to uncover conditions as causes. On the other hand, one who believes they are caused by unsafe acts will attempt to find the human errors that are causes. Therefore, it is necessary to examine all underlying factors in a chain of events that ends in an incident. The important point is that even in the most seemingly straightforward incident, seldom is ever, if ever, is there only a single cause. For example, an investigation which concludes that an incident was due to worker carelessness and goes no further, fails to find answer to several important questions such as was the worker distracted, and if yes, why was the worker distracted? Was a safe work procedure being followed? If why, if not, then why not? Were safety devices in order? If not, why not? Was the worker trained? If not, then why not? An inquiry that answers these and related questions will probably build conditions that are more open to wreck. That's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Velly Somosierra and I will going to discuss the steps in accident investigation. There are 4 ways to manage the accident scene. The first one is treat the injured, control the remaining hazards, isolate the site to protect people, and lastly, preserve the evidence. First one is treat the injured. Investigators should be very sure that steps have been taken to ensure prompt and effective rescue of an injured. Planning should address the provision for quick first aid treatment for the victims. So the investigator should also know how to put a first aid treatment for the victims. Second is control the remaining hazards. Immediate or temporary actions should be taken to control the risk of any further injury or damage. There should be an established procedure for the stoppage of any additional work to prevent possible occurrence of another or similar accident. The third one is isolate the site to protect people. In many cases, the accident scene is a dangerous place. The accident may have damaged electrical equipment, weakened structural supports, or may have released radioactive or toxic materials. Isolating or barricading the accident scene must be particularly implemented to prevent the entry of workers. Preserve the evidence. Immediate action should be made for the protection of evidence. Physical evidences are so important for the success of every accident investigation. Each investigation should be conducted as soon as possible after the accident. A delay of only a few hours may permit these important evidences to be destroyed or removed intentionally or unintentionally. Preservation techniques include photographs, sketches, maps, notes, and witness statements. Depending upon the nature of the accident, preservation of evidence may also require additional action to ensure its security. Sources of information: time and location, environment, physical evidence, witnesses, and existing records. Time and location: this is the time of the day and place where the accident happened. More or less, you can get an idea of possible causes of the incident if you know whether it happened in the morning, afternoon, or evening. Likewise, you can also identify causes if you have the idea of where the accident happened. Environment. The evaluation of the environment will provide information regarding the causes of accident. Identify the environmental factors that might influence the accident, such as weather conditions, illumination, temperature, noise, ventilation, etc. Physical evidence. As the investigator, you should exercise extreme care in handling, collecting, retrieving, or otherwise identifying physical evidence. Investigators not familiar with the fragility of these evidences might destroy it during the investigation process. Example of the physical evidence are equipment, tools, and materials involved in the accident. Witnesses. A witness can be defined simply as any person who has information relating to the accident. A witness may also be someone who has knowledge of the events occurring during any of the three stages of the accident, namely the pre-contact, contact, and post-contact.
So next, on what or who are your sources of information is from the existing records. So existing records could be from the equipment record, could be from the record, job or task record, or from the previous accident investigation reports. So in existing records, it would really help a lot in accident investigation because the investigator would be able to know about the employee, about the background of the company, and also about the job description of that particular victim. So first in the existing records would be from the employee record. So this employee record should be consist of the victim's age and gender, the department and occupation in which he or she worked, work status, experience, and employee's training, and all of these should be reflected in the employee's record. So as an investigator, you should look for an employee record to know more about the employee's background and also his or her occupation that are assigned to that particular victim. So by looking in that employee record, you would be able to know more about the employee. So next is the equipment record. This record should consist of the type, the brand, size, and any distinguishing features of the equipment, its condition, and the specific hazardous parts that may cause accident. So as an investigator, by looking in this equipment record, you will be able to know if the equipment is well maintained or if the equipment is ready for use or not. So that you could tell if during or before the accident happened, you could tell if the equipment is one of the factor why the accident happened. So next is the job or task record. So this record should include the tasks that are assigned to the victim, the tools and the equipment that he or she is using or operating before the accident happened. The description should include also the posture or location of the employee in doing the task and whether the employee is working alone or with others. So as an investigator, by looking in this job record, you'd be able to know the job or what are the tasks that are assigned to the victim so that you'd be able also to know the possible accidents in that particular job. So next in the existing records in a company, it should be from a record of previous accident investigation reports. So these previous accident reports should contain every accident in a company that identifies the who, what, when, where, why, and how, or also known as 5 Ws and 1 H. So the investigator, by looking in this record or by looking in the previous accident reports, would be able to determine if there are already accidents that previously happened in that particular company that are involved in the accidents. So as a investigator, you would be able to know the background of the company if they are already following some standards, or they are lacking enough protection in the machines, or lacking enough protection in their employees. So next is the method of interviewing of witnesses. So any information that you can get from a witness is a strong information or a strong evidence in an accident investigation. So since the value of witness statements is highest when derived from testimony gathered immediately after the accident occurs, it is essential that interview of witnesses begins as soon as possible, because if you will interview the witnesses later, let's say for example, after 1 day or after 2 days, the witness might forget all of the information that he or she saw in the accidents. So you will not get enough information, and also you might get a bluff testimony or statements from the witnesses. So these are the guidelines to obtain or to gather necessary facts during an interview. So first, as an interviewer, you have to eliminate or reduce an employee's fear and anxiety. So next is ensure that the location is non-threatening to the witness. So in short, you have to make the witness comfortable as you speak or as you have having communication with them. And third is create a feeling of trust and establish open communication before beginning the actual interview. Then you should also build a feeling of trust, or you should build rapport communication, or a close relationship toward the witness, so that the witness should feel comfortable and should feel free to tell anything or to tell a story about what he or she saw in the accident. So in the interview process, first is you have to get written statement from the witness. Second is to reassure the witness by telling him or her that it is okay to tell I don't know, or to tell that I'm not sure about the story that I am telling, because the witness might still have anxiety because of the accidents of what he or she saw. So this is the way that you make the witness feel comfortable, and you are trying to remove the fear or any anxiety from that particular witness. So this is reassuring that the witness is not let's say OA, it's not OA, it's not overacting, and reassuring that the witness is only telling the scenarios that he witnessed from the occurrences of the accidents. So third is you have to let the witness tell the story, and this is the part where you are going to listen with the witness, and as an investigator, you could also compare this storytelling or this oral story from the written statement, so that you could see if they are the same statements or not. Next is after you listen to the story, you begin asking questions, and the questions should be open-ended questions, like asking how, when, what, where, and many-ended questions. So these open-ended questions will let the witness to tell the story by his own, because you are not providing limited answers. So you're letting the witness to answer the question, or to say I don't know, or I'm not sure with my answer. So you are making the witness to feel free of whatever he or she would want to tell about the story. So when asking questions, you don't ask leading questions in an interview, because you're not giving freedom to the witness to tell the story. You are giving them limited answers. These leading questions example of these leading questions is hindi ka naligo, like that, hindi ka naligo, and then you have to answer that question yes or no. But if you answer the question yes, yung meaning nun is hindi ka pa rin naligo. Yes, hindi ako naligo. But if you answer the question no, still your answer is hindi ka pa rin naligo. So that is an example of a leading question. So in asking leading question in an interview, you are asking a question but the answer is already provided or already assumed by you. So it is not ideal, or you don't ask leading questions in an interview. Then after you get enough information from that witness, or if you think that you have no more questions, you need to summarize all of the statements, all of the information that you gathered from the witness. Then you could also ask for recommendation if the witness know if there are more sources of information, or if there are anyone else or other else that you could interview. So lastly is close on a positive note. So you can close on a positive note by being nice with the witness, by making them feel comfortable with your conversation, and also by just saying thank you for participating or for giving information in your investigation process. So because those information will really help a lot in your investigation.
The first two steps in accident investigation have already been discussed on the earlier part of this video. So now, let's proceed to the third step in accident investigation, which is analyze the accident. When we talk about analyzing the accident, we first need to find the cause of it. In accident investigation, it is commonly understood that a combination of factors or causes must usually come together under just the right circumstances to bring about accident. The information or the pieces of information on accident or on accident causes have led the management to conclude that accidents are caused. Accidents don't just happen, and causes can be determined in control. Companies are implementing precautionary measures which are implemented in the company, in their operation, to be able to just minimize the potential of the accident to a minimum level, or to be able to prevent the occurrence of them. So, there are four elements that interact together for successful business operations. These four elements are what you can see on the figure on your screen right now, which are first, people, second, the equipment, third, the materials, and the fourth one is the environment. So let's discuss these elements one by one. The people, we all know the people are the most vital factor, or the most important part of a business. So the people is the one who are responsible for the operation of a company. It includes they built the systems that would run the company. They also implement the trainings that the workers needed to be able to properly execute their job, or the tasks that were given to them. People also have the skill to be able to work in a company, and of course the people themselves are also responsible for motivating and sharing some information to the workers to be able for a company to become successful. The next one is the environment. The environment itself is not just about the the environment. It also involves the conditions which affect the environment. For example, the temperature, the lighting, the noise level of the workplace, and the ventilation. The other factor is the equipment. These equipments involve the designs. These equipments are the what you can see that are being operated by the people or the workers. Um, the maintenance are being performed by the people on the equipment, as well as inspection. And the other factor is the material. These materials are what the workers are using, handling, in their task. Also, these materials are part of the storaging, transportation, and disposal if already been used. Let's first proceed to the people. So, the people obviously are of any successful business or an organization are the greatest resources. They are the one who work for the company. They perform operation, maintenance, and inspection of all of the equipment and materials that are utilized by the other workers in the company. So basically, they run the entire company. If there will be no any people, the equipment cannot be used, so there will be no operation that would happen in an organization or a company. Unfortunately, statistics show that a high percentage of accidents have been attributed to human element. Influencing factors can affect human behavior and performance must be examined and evaluated for cause. The mental and the emotional status of a worker, of a person, can affect the his or their operation, or can affect his job, which could lead to accidents. So it is necessary for the company to be able to examine and evaluate their mental and emotional status or capacity, so that any accident will be prevented from happening in future. So workers must be trained to leave their personal problems and personal interest in performing their job, and they should practice professionalism and in their tasks to be able to prevent any accidents or any untoward occurrence from happening in their workplace. So the next element is the equipment. Equipment includes the tools and machines employees must work with in order to accomplish their assigned work. In more recent years, the improper design of controls and displays on complex power machines and equipment has been cited frequently as the primary source or cause of accident. The improper use of hand tools, calibrating instruments, gauges, or even a ladder to accomplish a given task can also adversely affect the outcome of the job to the point of accident. People can and often interact with equipment or vice versa to have an accident. So it is important for the person who is operating a particular machine to be trained and informed of on the specification and the proper handling of this equipment. Training and skill evaluation are important things to be done by the administration of the company to prevent accidents from happening. So the third one is the material. So materials are known as what people use or work with. Materials are also or can be the cause of of an accident. So materials can be sharp, heavy, hot, cold, toxic, or defective. These kinds of materials are some of the major source of accident causes. In all cases, materials can be a major source of energy contact that results in accident. Since people must interface regularly with materials in order to perform their task, an examination of the relationships between potential accident sources becomes extremely important in the accident investigation process. When one considers that people often use equipment to process materials in daily operation, the complexity of accident source relationship becomes even more evident. So the last one is the environment. It is basically the physical surrounding in which work are being performed by the worker. This includes the building or the structure that house the people, and of course it also includes the air that they breathe. The environment includes or is associated with lighting, noise level, and atmospheric conditions. So, environment is not only about the physical structure of the workplace. It also includes the physical condition of the workplace that can affect the workers on their job, which can also be the cause of the accident if these conditions are not have been solved during time where this condition are extremely affecting their performance of their job. The work environment represents the source of causes of an ever increasing number of diseases and health related conditions. So, on the environment, we all know that temperature is part of the environment. If a workplace is not well ventilated, especially during summer season, the extreme increase in temperature can affect the performance of the workers, which can lead to adverse health-related conditions that are relatively can because of their poor performance of their job. That's why proper planning and designing of the structure of the working environment is very important for the workers to successfully perform their specific task and job in their workplace, and of course to avoid accidents to happen anytime. So these four elements should work in harmony to be able to achieve a successful business operation. If there is any untoward, unplanned, or undesired event that happen, which can be in any of these elements, some adverse effect might happen on the operation of the company, and this might cause accident. So as what I have previously said, these four elements of business operation either individually or in combination can produce the source of causes of accident. So that's why in the investigation of every accident, management must ensure the proper consideration of the potential for involvement of any or all of these four elements of business operation. So we are now done with the third step of an accident investigation. Let's now proceed to the last part, which is writing a report. So what should an accident investigation report answer? All information gathered during the course of an investigation should be properly reported and formally recorded in an accident investigation report. So an accident investigation report serves as a documentation for the occurrence of an accident in a particular place. So although there are no established industry standard format for recording the accident investigation into a report form, there are several aspects of the processes which are common to most reports. Each company will generally develop its own format for the investigation report, one that is acceptable to management. Although, as what I have said, there is no standard, or there is no general standard in writing an accident report. Particular things must be included in this report. So the report should answer the 5 W's and 1 H in reporting of accident. So what are these 5 W's and 1 H? So 5W and 1H, or 5W1H, is a method of asking questions about a process or a problem taken up for improvement. The 4 W's and 1H is used to comprehend for details, analyze inferences and judgment to get to the fundamental facts, and guide statement to get the abstraction. 5 W's are who, what, where, when, and why, and the 1H is how. So the first one is who. So who was injured? Who was injured is a question that will contain the facts relating to any person who directly or indirectly associated with the accident. Here will shows up the names that include within the scope of the news or the accident that has been occurred. The next one is what happened. What happened is a question that will answer what happened and will encourage the reporter of the accident to gather facts related to the things done by the one who is responsible for that accident, and to the victim of the accident. So the next one is the where did the accident occur. So this one includes the specific location of the place where the accident happened. Next one is when did the accident occur. You can specify here the time and the date of the occurrence of the accident. And the next one is why did the accident occur. So why did the accident occur will serve as the background or the cause of the accident. So how can similar accident be prevented? So this one is the part where you have to indicate the precautionary measures that that your organization or your company must implement to be able to prevent the occurrence of the accident that can definitely affect the lives of your workers. So this part is very important so that no more any accidents or the potential of the accidents to occur will be minimized or will be made to 0% if possible. It must be noted that the occupational safety and health standard provides for an accident investigation report using the prescribed form, which is available to the Department of Labor and Employment, BWC, OHSD, and IP6A, which can be used by the companies on devising their company's accident investigation report form.
Ito naman yung aking i-report, recommending and monitoring corrective actions. So, recommending and monitoring corrective actions. After all probable causes of accident have been established, your next step is to make recommendations and corrective actions for changes that will prevent a similar accident in the future. So, there are several specific changes that you can recommend that will involve any or a combination of ease of safeties such as the following. So, kapag katapos natin malaman yung cause ng isang aksidente, yung next step natin is gagawa na tayo ng recommendation para hopefully maiwasan na yun sa mangyari ulit sa susunod. So, ito yung mga combination ng ACE. So, engineering control, education, tapos enforcement. So, una is engineering control. So, kita mo dito may ventilation, ilaw, yan, proper lightings. So, engineering changes will probably be needed to improve working conditions. Perhaps, the company will need to make some process changes in the workplace to prevent another accident. Job tasks need to be altered to eliminate a hazard. Sometimes there is a need for economic adjustments, such as redesigning a machine or raising workable heights, or there is a need to install industrial ventilation system or improve maintenance system. So, yung engineering changes mostly mangyayari sa workplace mismo sa pinagtatrabuhan ng mga workers natin. So, includes dito yung ergonomic adjustments, yung pagbabago ng design. Halimbawa, kung yung isang machine pangit yung pagkakadesign sa kanya kaya nakakause siya ng accident, so babaguhin natin yung design niya. Tapos, raising workable heights, install industrial ventilation system. So, kung connected naman siya sa ventilation, so ayusin natin yung ventilation system natin. Tapos minsan meron din naman yung katulad ng pinakita ko kanina, ito sa ilaw, minsan nagkakos din yan yung insufficient lighting. Kapag masyadong madilim sa lugar, delikado magtrabaho. So pangalawa naman is education. So kapag tapos mo ng engineering changes, pangalawa is education. Ayan. After engineering control measures are put in place, training of all workers of the organization is needed. Basically, educating the employees on how to work safely, reducing injuries, and keeping workers' compensation down should be the company's concern. It is a practical move for the company to follow a plan on safety training. Pagkatapos mo ng engineering control measures, kapag tapos ng sa workplace, maayos yung workplace, so sunod naman dun is yung mga workers. Kasi kahit maayos yung workplace mo tapos yung mga workers mo naman wala rin silang proper training, delikado pa rin yan. Kailangan ma-educate sila kung paano gamitin yung mga bagay-bagay, paano maiwasan yung mga ganitong bagay. Pangatlo naman is enforcement. After all control measures have been exhausted and in place, and trainings have been conducted to educate the employees, accidents might still happen. So hindi pa yan 100% kasi minsan may mga workers tayo na matitigas ang ulo. Kahit sinabihan ng ganito, wag gawin to, ginagawa pa rin. So maybe in this case, there's a need for a more comprehensive implementation of enforcement program to make sure workers will follow the basic rules and regulations on safety and health. So pwede kang mag-fine kapag hindi nila nasunod tong isang bagay na to, para hopefully mas malaki yung chance na sundin nila to kasi ayaw nila mabawasan yung sweldo nila. The government takes extra effort in enforcement of OSH standards by DOLE inspectors. Enforcement of all safety, health, and rules and regulation must be given ample attention to ensure smooth implementation of all OSH program. Yung enforcement kailangan pagtuunan na niya ng pansin kasi kahit anong ganda ng engineering changes ng education mo, yung mga matitigas pa rin talaga ang ulo na hindi sumusunod, wala pa rin yan. Malaki pa rin yung chance na may aksidenteng mangyari. So importance of follow-up. So accident investigation without follow-up is meaningless. So kung investigate nga ngayon, kunyari may nadulas noon dahil basa yung part na to, tapos nag-investigate kayo dun, tapos nalaman nyo na dahil madulas kaya siya nadulas, kung hindi mo naman nilinis yun, wala rin, meaningless din kung wala kang follow-up. After you perform an investigation and determine the causes of an accident, steps need to be taken to help ensure that the same accident does not occur again. So yun nga, katulad na sabi ko kanina, some managers fall short of this. Ilang mga manager daw na-fall short sila sa bagay na to. They implement corrective action but they fail to make sure that the corrective measures are working. It's important to constantly monitor the situation to make sure that whatever corrective action has been taken, it is doing what is supposed to do. Kailangan bantayan mo maigi yung workplace. So remember, only when accidents are eliminated is an accident investigation really complete. So kung totally nawala yun, natanggal yun na yung accident na nangyari, at sure na kayo na hindi na mangyayari ulit yun, doon lang nagiging kompleto yung accident investigation. Ibig sabihin, doon lang kumbaga naging successful. Kung hindi naman natanggal yung accident, nandiyan pa rin. Kung lumaki pa lalo yung chance na magkaroon ng accident, ay hindi talaga kompleto yung accident investigation at kailangan pa nating pagtuunan pa ito ng pansin. So in conclusion, accident investigation is really an important tool in the prevention of recurrence of accidents. All accidents, whether it is a near miss or injury, damage caused accidents, kung muntikan lang o hindi lang na muntik, tinamaan talaga, should be reported. To be effective, we should always be at the scene of accident as soon as possible and should follow the basic methods of accident investigation. Given the proper training, you or any of your workers can conduct an accident investigation. So, yung iba kasi niisip na yung mga nasa taas lang yung pwedeng mag-conduct ng accident investigation, tapos yung mga workers wala silang gagawin. Pero kung may proper training ka naman, yung mga workers mo, dapat they can conduct their own accident investigation. So, yun lang yung report namin. Salamat sa pakikinig at God bless sa inyong lahat.